Hello there, and warm greetings to every single one of you. I truly hope that you are all doing exceptionally well today. I am here with a brand new video to remind you of a few very important and essential points that everyone really needs to observe during these critical and challenging times. Let us go over together in detail what specific things we should all keep in mind for the next 18 months, and let us try to adapt ourselves to them, get used to them over time, and consistently follow this approach and this particular path forward. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my higher spirit for being with me, for healing me, and for guiding me. Before I actually start talking about this specific series of important points, I really want to address this now because I have personally received so many different questions about this topic lately. And it seems that some people either tend to hear exactly what they want to hear rather than what the speaker is actually saying in the moment, but instead they just focus on what they had already wanted to hear from the very beginning. One of the most common questions I receive is from those who have been following me since roughly 6 or 7 years ago in the past, when I first said we are entering the age of Aquarius. They mistakenly thought that the moment we enter the age of Aquarius, everything would suddenly and completely change. That's why I want to take a moment to give a brief, clear explanation. The age of Aquarius is a vast, transformative era that unfolds slowly over time. It lasts for centuries. It takes many, many years for us to move from a point that was established 2,600 years ago and enter a new era with different characteristics, new technologies, more advanced methods, becoming more civilized humans, and having better lives. That's why, let me give you an example. Imagine in the Stone Age when humans were like apes, living together in the jungle, killing and eating each other, climbing trees, and there was absolutely no civilization, no literacy, no education, no knowledge, no awareness, nothing at all. It was just whatever their nature had given them. For example, if you climbed a tree and picked a banana, you could eat it. Everything was based on animal instincts. And one day, just suppose I'm only giving this as an example to clarify where we are, that not everything will change tomorrow. 6 months from now, not everything will have changed. A large group of those very same people who looked remarkably like apes, but who were actually early humans in disguise, came forward and said, "We can start a massive revolution together. We can truly change our lives for the better, and we can become much more civilized than the primitive apes ever were." This transformation would affect both our physical appearance, our developing brains, and our entire way of life. And it was at that precise moment that a brand new era for humanity finally began. Some of the apes woke up every morning, looked at their hairy bodies, looked at their way of life, and said, "We don't see any change." And some believed those people who said that we could be very civilized. And today, after centuries, we humans, who are more beautiful than apes, much, much more beautiful, we sit behind computers, we wear clothes, we travel by airplane, and all the machines, inventions, and everything that exists in our lives today were beyond the imagination of those Stone Age humans. And those who woke up every morning and said, "Come on, this is all nonsense. We don't see any change. The world is just getting worse." Well, they were wrong. That was their way of thinking, and they were born like apes and left the world like apes as well. But a group of those apes, or rather those ape-like humans, started, instead of walking on all fours, to walk on 2 legs. Instead of just imitating apes, they started practicing every day. For example, when climbing trees, They would keep both hands up and use their feet to hold onto the tree. Then they began practicing how to walk on two legs, and then they discovered fire, and then they realized that if they cooked their food, it would be better, and so on and so forth, which you all know better than I do, until we finally arrived at the stage of modern humans. Now, when we say that a brand new century is beginning, or perhaps a completely new era has come, it doesn't necessarily mean that next week, in 4 months, or even in a single month, you will see that everything that has been carefully built over the past 3,000 years, which certainly wasn't built overnight, has suddenly and completely changed. It is a slow process that takes much more time than we often imagine. So, an earthquake would have to come and destroy the Earth, and we would have to enter another planet for such a miracle to happen. But since we truly want to develop our own Earth, to make this entire planet flourish and achieve a much greater, more profound civilization, just like those primitive ape-like humans with their simple monkey minds who eventually got us to where we are right now, we want to become at least 100 times more technologically and spiritually advanced than today's humans. And this incredible transformation will surely happen in the upcoming age of Aquarius. But it will take 2,600 years. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not just one country, so why hasn't the leader changed at all? Why hasn't the policy changed? Everything is getting more expensive. Life is getting harder. It's getting more complicated. We haven't seen any reforms in the world at all. Life hasn't gotten any easier. My dear friends, as I said in my previous videos, we shouldn't think like ants. We shouldn't expect that today, all of a sudden, the entire economic and banking system will collapse. You yourselves would be absolutely terrified by the sheer scale of it all. Back in the year 2012, the members of the Galactic Federation officially announced, formally requested, and meticulously planned a way to gradually and peacefully bring all of humanity into the enlightened new age of Aquarius. Otherwise, there would have been massive floods, vast areas of land would have been destroyed, some regions would have suffered drought, and 50 to 70% of humans would have perished so that we could prepare the Earth. And because the Earth's vibration is steadily and continuously rising, if it had experienced a sudden and dramatic spike, absolutely none of us would have survived. We are gradually raising our vibration from 20 hertz to 25, 35, 40, 45, 60, 65, and in about 30 years, it will reach around 70 hertz or maybe even higher. Now let me take a moment to thoroughly explain this situation for all of those people who keep asking, why exactly hasn't anything changed at all since then? These changes will be slow and steady over time, and human consciousness plays an incredibly significant and pivotal role in this entire transformation, in this profound rebirth of the Earth and infinite involvement, which truly means a direct and personal involvement. I wrote in my book 6 years ago that when 75% of people finally reach a state of higher awareness, we will actually feel that we are living in the long-awaited age of Aquarius. And as long as our collective consciousness remains at the same level and we do not rise higher, it means that each and every individual inhabitant of this planet truly plays a vital part in the outcome. That is why awareness must be spread. That is also why there are light workers, not those who are charlatans, not those who just copy and paste, not those who use tricks to get followers on YouTube. I am talking about a simple person, a light worker who has devoted their life to this work, and there are millions of them in the world. It started with 1 million people between 1998 and 2000, and these 1 million people who were in different parts of the world added to the awareness every day. And awareness, like light, is spreading at the speed of light throughout the world. Those who remain fast asleep or who might claim and say, "We have not witnessed any change," it truly means that they are simply not living in this world. That is, if someone says that even since 2020 they haven't felt anything, they're waiting for us to go back to 2010 or 2015 and say, "We haven't changed, we haven't seen anything, the world hasn't changed." These people are either asleep, pretending to be asleep, or lying to themselves. In other words, they are living in a lie. They sit around and say, "One day we'll open our door, go out into the street, and see that the age of Aquarius has arrived." That's impossible. Step by step, we're moving upward. A very important step, a very important one, and an extraordinary illumination is coming within the next 18 months. It means an awareness will reach the entire planet, so that even those who pretend to be asleep won't be able to deny it. They can't say, no, we didn't see anything. It's a revelation of what they've done to us, what they've done to our minds. A revelation of criminal, treacherous acts, of the exploitation of humanity. So about a month ago, I actually uploaded a detailed video specifically for June 9th. And in that particular clip, I spent some time talking extensively about the energetic portal that officially opened up on that day, which was June 9th. Some of the comments I see on this Farsi channel, I notice people writing things like, "My boyfriend didn't propose to me, nothing happened at all." Or someone wrote that they got fired from their job, to which I replied that they should be happy they lost their job. That means that job wasn't aligned with your soul. What happened on June 9th was much broader than just something I could see in my personal life. Massive portals suddenly opened up across the globe, creating a profound energy shift that affected the entire planet in ways we are only beginning to understand. One of the most significant of these events occurred on June 9th, when portals manifested in many different parts of the world and in various sacred locations across the earth. During this powerful time, the ancient energy centers, known as the chakras of Mother Earth, began to fully activate and vibrate with a new frequency, signaling a major spiritual awakening for the world. If you have had the chance to watch my previous videos, then you likely already know that the Earth, much like us humans, possesses its own spiritual chakras. In certain specific locations across the planet, due to the incredibly high levels of energy present there, various exploiters have deliberately closed off those sacred chakras. They have essentially deactivated them by utilizing the heavy weight of fear, the deep pain of sorrow, the constant burden of worry, and the generally low vibrations of people. These forces simply do not want those powerful chakras to be active or functioning at all. However, these vital energy centers were finally reopened on the 9th of June. And whenever a significant event occurs up in the vast sky and we begin to witness its profound effects here on Earth, it truly feels as though we are all gathered together in the very same room, experiencing it as one. When the room is dark, we can't see anything, but since we're all in the room, when someone turns on the light, we can all see each other. We all start to see a lot of things that we couldn't see before. It might remind us of the story of the elephant, where someone in the dark would touch it and say, "What is this? This is its tail. Where is this? This is its trunk. This is that." But when the light was turned on, they saw it was an elephant. So that's how it happened, and naturally it will also affect my personal life and yours. We are also in that room. We are also on this planet Earth. At the precise moment when the Earth's sacred Mother Chakra finally opens up, a profound series of divine revelations begin to take place across the world. Some flourishing begins to take root, while some collapses start and various breakdowns begin to occur. And if you truly think we are entering the age of Aquarius without any major shocks, without the presence of war, without the spilling of bloodshed, without the suffering of drought, without the depths of despair, without the pressure of inflation, or without severe food shortages, then you must understand that such a transition is simply and utterly impossible. We have to completely bulldoze our old family land, and as this bulldozer works through the debris, it creates thick clouds of dust that fill the air. This is because in specific geographic regions where their spiritual chakras are closed or completely dormant and inactive, in order to thoroughly purify and release the old stagnant energy of the past century, in a manner very similar to the human physical body, the earth also possesses a complex body of its own, just like every one of us. Until I can purify my inner self, I simply cannot reach a state of spiritual elevation. Our great Mother Earth is undergoing this very same process in order to be reborn. Therefore, specific locations across the globe must be destroyed, and a period of chaos must happen. You can't just suddenly shut down all the banks in the world in one day when they want to change the economic system. No, it takes time for the banks, maybe 5 years, 6 years. We've been seeing this for 5 or 6 years now, and it takes time for the economic system to change. We're seeing the educational system too, where some people started first. Those who were aware took their children out of school and taught them at home. Then we saw firsthand how flawed and broken the school system is, how much violence there has been, how many times someone has destroyed a school, not just in one country, but all over the world. These tragic things have happened in schools. And then we finally start to collectively work to change the system. In this modern day and age, the typical teacher at school often knows far less than the average student. And when a curious 8-year-old child has a complex question, they simply no longer feel the need to ask their classroom teacher for the answer. They go to the computer, type in their question, and get the answer. So it's possible that subjects like geography or history, which have all been lies taught to us in a way that benefits them, history really wasn't what they taught us. Religion, the banking system, the economic system, the political system, that feeling we had 20 years ago that the country's leader was like a god to us, all of that is breaking down now. Now we realize that the leader was just a human being, full of pride and exploitation. Whether it is a powerful king ruling somewhere or a high-ranking president leading a nation, these individuals certainly did not reach the very top of the hierarchy for no reason at all. The shadowy, dark group behind the scenes simply does not allow a truly decent or moral person to rise to such a high position of power. And all of this hidden truth is now gradually becoming much clearer to everyone who is paying attention. A complex religion about which they have consistently lied for many thousands of long years takes at least 70 years, or perhaps 50 years at the very least, for people to first become deeply disillusioned, then begin to use their own logic, and finally realize the absolute truth, that this specific religion, this God you have carefully created for us, is nothing more than a complete lie. This gentleman sitting up there with a whip, who is constantly either punishing or rewarding me, is a lie. And once again, we have to get to know God from scratch, understand what religion is for, where it was right, where it was manipulated, all religions. Why have wars happened? Why was cash money introduced among us? We have to question all of these things, and we are questioning them right now. We are at that point where we are first collapsing the old world, and then our beliefs will change. Each and every one of us must change our beliefs. As long as my beliefs are the same as they were 20 or 30 years ago, our world will not change. But if I truly transform my core beliefs, illuminate the deepest corners of my conscious mind, and gain a profound sense of awareness, then the entire world around me will change much sooner, And when we finally become 75% aware, we will reach our collective destination significantly more easily. Woe to those individuals who are still caught up in the superficiality of Hollywood, obsessed with actors, singers, and all those artificial concerts that distract from reality. One day, very soon, these unsuspecting people will finally wake up, and they might find that it is already far too late. And over the course of these long 18 months, one of the primary things we see is that those very models whom we devoted our entire lives to emulate, and whose glamorous lives we once envied, will be systematically destroyed one by one. And if they do not choose to leave this world entirely, they will eventually have to join the common people. And in order to truly join the people, they will be forced to reveal the hidden truths, specifically how they signed dark contracts to become famous and willingly sold their souls to the devil. May her soul rest in peace. Here, I must take a moment to remember the late Dr. Doris Cannon, one of the most brilliant and masterful souls who truly brought a profound awareness to our entire world. Truly may her soul rest in eternal peace. She was an exceptionally great human being whose legacy will live on. She eventually reached a specific point in her narrative where she explained this concept very beautifully and profoundly. She said that we all eventually reach a critical point where the entire world effectively splits into two distinct parts. There are the people who have become fully aware and move on to a much better world. And then there are the people who remain deeply asleep, and she believes they will never truly reach the vastness of the universe. And what is also very interesting is that she says they will also never actually realize that we were telling them the absolute truth all along. It is exactly like those primitive monkeys who remained monkeys and never once glimpsed the wonders of human civilization. They cannot fathom how humans can reach a remarkable point where, simply through the lens of a camera and through the power of modern technology, they can speak directly to the entire world, just like we are doing today, right here and right now. Those who refuse to evolve will never see that magnificent golden world, because they actively prefer to stay in that deep familiar darkness and stubbornly refuse to ever change their long-held beliefs or perspectives. So they will never see it, and they will always think that it never even existed. And I think I also made a short video about July 29th, where I said that the message that comes is a sign that we are moving in that direction in the future. Some people said that we didn't receive any message that day. Again, this wasn't a personal message. Many people did receive a personal message. Their path changed, their way of thinking changed. Something happened that a light turned on in their mind. Back on July 29th, which was exactly 2 days ago from right now, since today is actually the 31st of the month as I am sitting here recording this particular video for you, something happened 2 days ago that was incredibly interesting for me to witness personally. Generally speaking, I am the type of person who does not watch television at all, and I almost never take the time to listen to the mainstream news reports. However, we happen to have some guests staying here with us, and our TV set was actually turned on for once, and that is when I saw that the biggest criminal in existence, a man whose name everyone surely knows by now, the one who owns and controls all the major laboratories across the entire world, was finally being put on trial for his actions. After such a long time, he was finally brought before a court of law to face justice. Instead of being remembered as a very holy and respectable person, as he had been over the past 6 or 7 years, he came to court and didn't have an answer to any of the questions they asked him. According to the law, he said he could refuse to answer. For none of the serious things he was accused of did he have a clear answer. He simply said, "I have no answer." And this is a truly major revolution. On public television, for those who had no real understanding about the nature of the scheme COVID was and what it was truly about, it eventually became unmistakably clear to everyone. Back in the year 2019, which was a full year before the COVID pandemic began to spread, I wrote extensively and spoke publicly everywhere I went. This information is also documented in my book, which was officially published in 2020. I stated then that an artificial disease created through the actions of this very specific person had already killed over 1 million people. They fully intended to wipe out half of the entire world's population with this elaborate plan, working in direct collaboration with the individual who was the president at that time in 2011, though I do not wish to name names here, and also with the richest man on earth. This is the same man who has invested heavily in all the various poisons used in industrial agriculture and in the vaccines distributed across Africa. He is someone who constantly helps and appears to the public as a benevolent angel, traveling to Africa and personally overseeing the vaccinating of innocent African children. I actually have the video right here of these 3 people that were taken back in the year 2011. They proactively went to various Chinese companies where they ordered massive quantities of masks, ordered millions of vaccines, and carefully planned everything out for the entire year of 2020. Despite these actions, absolutely no one did anything to hold them accountable until just 2 days ago, which was the moment when this gentleman was finally put on trial. Now, when I say there is some important news to share and a message suddenly comes through, you have to understand the gravity. It is not something trivial, like wondering whether or not my boyfriend is finally going to propose to me today. We're not ants to just look at our own lives. We are a part of the earth. When the earth becomes aware, my life changes. And if we can look at things this broadly, think this big, beyond just what we see, let alone the fact that many people even changed their path 2 days ago. But this time, for the first time, I stood in front of the TV and I really wanted to dance, and I started laughing, really dancing. I said, "Thank you, God. The things I dreamed about are coming true. The things I've been talking about for 7 years, saying they would come, they did come, but it took 7 years." Now imagine if someone 7 years ago woke up the next day and said to me, "That thing you said, nothing happened at all. Things are happening one after another. We are now slowly entering the magnificent, shimmering golden world, but successfully passing through this incredibly narrow, dark, and claustrophobic corridor is certainly not an easy task for us to accomplish right now. But when we truly understand that at the end of the tunnel there is a beautiful light and paradise, we can certainly find the inner strength to endure this short period as well. Now is the time to find peace from within. During these 18 months, the best advice I can give you is to raise awareness. Please don't spend your precious time in so many various places. You really need to choose very selectively. Pick a specific group of people whom you deeply trust and follow them closely, especially if you find that you can't quite reach that level of awareness through meditation yourself, and then simply let go of all the rest. You must truly value your time and value the mental energy that they take away from you every single day. Their survival depends on our energy. They feed off our energy. How do they feed off our energy? By filling our hearts with fear, by making us feel hopeless, and by leaving us feeling sad and alone. So please do not just be sad. Try to be useful and productive instead. What can I do today for the universe? Can I at least share 2 awareness videos with someone else? Can I go somewhere and talk about these things? If I find that I don't know enough about something, about a specific political party, about a particular person, or about a certain leader, and I simply don't see the underlying truth of the matter, is it possible for me to at least remain completely silent? My dear friends and listeners, it is a hard truth that no truly powerful nation ever steps in to provide genuine assistance to another country. These are lies. They come under the pretense of helping so they can enter countries because they want to gain benefits. So don't blindly defend some country that supposedly came to develop another country. If they knew how they developed their own countries. The reason they're invading other places is because they themselves are weak. A powerful person doesn't just attack a child in the street for no reason. A black belt karate practitioner doesn't show off their abilities all the time because the power is within them. A spiritual master doesn't interfere in politics because they know their own powers. They neither listen nor are they influenced by it. But a weak person tries to control others. In fact, control comes from weakness. Someone who is strong doesn't control others. No, they don't control anyone around them. They give freedom. So, exerting control, engaging in combat, possessing lethal weapons, and taking the lives of others, these simply cannot be the actions of an individual whom I could ever support, or say that they truly have a good heart, or even suggest that they are genuinely trying to do the right thing for me. I have this old family video, and it features my grandmother speaking quite passionately. In the footage, I talk at length about how you really shouldn't ever trust a thief who comes into your house. It is a very important lesson that she shared with us all. An unauthorized thief has no right to enter a private home, and a dedicated leader is one who is actively among the people. The leader stands at the front. The leader is among the people, and the people are behind him. The leader should be the first to face danger. If we sit down and think about these systems instead of just chanting empty slogans, we'll see that none of them actually risk their own lives. Instead, they push the people forward. They send the people to their deaths. And right now is the time when we, as conscious human beings who are fighting against the forces of darkness, must realize that this is not a war between people. It's a war between people and those who exploit them. And what exists in a leader, in all leaders, in all politics, in all political positions, is that their interests lie there, and among themselves, they're all fine with each other. They're just putting on a show for us. We, the people, need to stand together. We need to have solidarity, regardless of which specific country we might come from. All people everywhere must unitedly fight against every form of injustice and stand firmly against anyone who thinks they are above the law and seeks to exploit others for their own gain. How should we engage in this struggle? With our heightened sense of awareness, with our deeply rooted knowledge, and by absolutely not falling for their deceptive and manipulative tricks. They're just sowing discord among people so that we become more miserable, so that we're only worried about our daily bread, so that we don't have the chance to become aware. This is a time to fight darkness, a time to spread light. Find your own inner light and spread it far and wide. Give your love to others. be the light, stand in solidarity, and be the sun for everyone. The sun gives warmth to everyone without judgment. Show empathy to every person you can. Cooperate with them. Stand in solidarity with them. We humans are all one. We humans are connected to our source. They can't draw energy from the source. I don't know how else to say it. I'm saying these things in every one of my videos. They survive off our energy, so let's not give it to them, and this is the end. These last 2 or 3 years are their final years. After centuries, they're leaving the earth, and they might commit atrocities that have never existed before. But we humans must be aware and not be afraid. In terms of natural disasters, it's possible that extreme heat will occur in many parts of the planet. It's possible that water contamination may occur. It's possible that countries with declining influence, since this system is also collapsing, like England, like Spain, will be in the news a lot over the next 18 months. In fact, it starts from there and then awareness spreads. Then it's possible that a part of Russia, a part of China, and, well, more likely Portugal, the country of Portugal, these are all places where we will witness the beginning of collapse in the next 2 years. So it starts here and then spreads to other places. But we humans need to know exactly which side we're working for and who we're working against. A good leader emerges from among the people, from these very young people who are now just ordinary citizens, and they will blossom on their own. From everywhere, from all over the planet, they will pour out like flowers blooming from every garden. The future leaders are among them. But today, as human beings, the least we can do is to take our teacher as our sun. The sun gives warmth to everyone, unless someone chooses to hide under a tree. We should develop this quality in ourselves and be like water. That is, be adaptable. When you pour water into a teapot, it takes the shape of the teapot. When water goes into a glass, it takes the shape of the glass. When water enters the ocean, it finds freedom, it becomes fluid, and water washes, cleanses, and purifies without judging whom it is cleaning, what it is cleaning, or where it is cleaning. Water is healing. So if we can adopt the qualities of nature, be like the sun, be flexible and healing like water, and be ever-changing like the air, instead of saying, I will never change. Air is constantly flowing all around us. It exists everywhere, and it essentially helps us with our daily breathing. If the air we breathe remains clean and pure, then we can stay healthy and alive too. So let us learn from the fresh air, to remain pure and clean, to stay in a constant state of flow, to be adaptable and flexible, and then finally, to be like fire. Let's truly learn from the 4 elements, be solid like the earth. Mother Earth is giving birth, with all her vastness, with all the sorrow she holds in her chest, with everything that has happened within her heart. She is now experiencing a new birth. So we too must be renewed. We too must experience a new birth. Other events that might happen in these 18 months include the fact that many people will be able to contact extraterrestrials. And we see news indicating that things are moving in that direction, that the truths which have been hidden from us will be revealed. As a result, whatever we experience in these 18 months, we can say, this too shall pass. But with each and every profound revelation that we encounter, we are being taken one significant step higher and closer toward our ultimate goal and toward our final destination. But one by one, We are all essential and unique individual pieces that can each play a vital, defining role in this process of collapse and rebuilding. And it is certainly no mere coincidence that we are the heroic souls who have chosen to come at this specific time in history. So let's not waste it on trivialities. Let's not be deceived by these enemies, and let's not let ourselves be saddened by the things they create for us. Let's take control ourselves, at least take control of our own emotions. Let's be strong. Let's help instead of complaining. One of the things this aspect brings at a low vibration is pride and bullying. If you notice in yourself that you are oppressing someone, that you are bullying someone, know that the universe does not want a being like this person to exist on earth when they are born. I really don't know how else to put it. Pride, malice, lying, copying, all of these, fortune telling, spreading false news, collaborating with politics, cooperating with leaders who are themselves falling, are the greatest enmity toward humanity. A good person with vibrant, high energy should work together with others, open their sincere heart, give love freely, and play an active role rather than just sitting around, remaining idle, or doing nothing at all. In this new earth, if I remain idle and passive, if I lack original creative power and am just copying the work of someone else, it simply will not allow me to survive or thrive. Right now, at this very moment, it is absolutely essential for us to keep our innate creative powers high and to remain truly happy. When a land is filled with happiness, its people clearly understand that this is the enemy who has come specifically to make me feel sad and to weaken my spirit. So I must find my own internal powers, and I am not afraid at all. This is only through the path of deep love, radiant light, and constant awareness that I can truly find the eternal light within myself, and then I can freely give this beautiful light to others. One of the specific countries that will certainly make a whole lot of noise, now I don't really know for sure, maybe in 2 months, 1 month, or even 6 months from now, is England. And England is truly the very center of all these various disasters occurring throughout the entire world today. We almost never hear its specific name being mentioned in public discourse. They only issue authoritative commands and directives to other countries about exactly what they should do, but their own grand palace will eventually crumble and collapse into ruins, and then it will finally become crystal clear to the common people exactly who the servants were in that place and who had been taking orders from them all along. As a result, I'm telling you, like lightning, there will be revelations. Be ready in these 18 months, and what they have built for us is falling apart. Don't worry, because abundance from the year 2030 will include all humans. When they no longer keep it monopolized and we humans understand how the system was working, the whole world will be filled with abundance. Don't be afraid, don't lose hope, don't be sad. Sadness and fear lower the energy of the earth, they lower human energy. There is a high possibility of civilizational and cultural wars, most of which will take place along the borders of countries. They might completely close the borders of countries so that no one can enter in order to keep things under control. All of these are their plans, so there is nothing to worry about in this regard. If we observe that a large group of migrants are departing from this location for another country, and the borders are being tightly closed, it is actually quite like a coordinated criminal gang of ruthless thieves. The specific method they are using is that they deliberately want to set our entire house on fire, and then, when I desperately try to escape from my own home, they systematically close all the doors everywhere to me as well. This is a calculated strategy that they have been consistently employing for many years now. but simply because it is hidden deep underground, we usually don't see it, unless we take the time to look at the entire world much more broadly and truly begin to understand the complex nature of the system. Once we truly understand the system, we no longer defend any political party or any leader. Instead, we stick together with other people. We bring about a sense of solidarity, and we make sure that we don't turn against each other. The primary reason they deliberately provoke and incite civil wars in these countries is so that we will eventually turn against one another and completely fail to recognize what it is they are actually doing behind the scenes. And all of this is awareness. Anyone who attains this awareness has a duty to take up this torch and pass it on to someone else, even if it's to their neighbor, their sister, their relatives, so that we can spread awareness more quickly, reaching a level here of 70%, 75%, so that we can reach our goals sooner and destroy the enemy faster. As I said, at a low vibration, there may be bullying, there may be arrogance, the egos may start to clash, but at a high vibration, it's all love and light. We try as human beings to keep our vibration high, to separate ourselves from fear, and to spread spirituality. Truthfulness and honesty, all of these play a major role in helping us reach our destination sooner. It is entirely in our own hands how we choose to face this formidable enemy, to eliminate it completely before they can even try to eliminate us and everything we stand for. So my message today to all of you, my dear ones, and to every single awakened soul, is that each and every one of us has the power to shape and create the world around us through our own intentions and actions. Every single one of us. Much like the individual pieces of a complex puzzle in this picture, is constantly moving a piece. We each have a specific place. We each have a unique role to play, and you must never take that away from others. Don't ever consider yourself to be worthless or insignificant. You are a vital piece of the whole. Otherwise, you simply wouldn't be here right now, and you wouldn't have survived in this specific time in history. We need to give empathy and love to other people and help each other as much as we can, especially during this crisis of 18 months. To be honest with ourselves, we should strive to be a better person than we were yesterday. We simply cannot transform the entire world around us unless every single individual among us undergoes a profound internal transformation from deep within. Our past beliefs and convictions belong to the outdated systems of the previous era. Let's change our beliefs. It is certainly quite difficult and challenging at the very beginning, but let us imagine that I have finally made the conscious decision to truly listen to someone else's perspective and opinion as well. I have decided to gradually modify and change my own internal system just a little bit. And this small change might last for a single week. Then it slowly becomes 20 days, then 40 days, and after that long period has passed, we will clearly see that we have actually become one of the dedicated workers or the most beloved children of this magnificent Mother Earth. We find that we ourselves are actively helping this great, beautiful sphere, our very dear Mother, throughout this entire miraculous birth process, choosing to be a source of genuine help and support rather than being a difficult problem for the earth to bear. You should never hesitate to offer any form of assistance to those in need. If you are working in jobs that you know are connected to the matrix world, you should start looking for a way out. Be sure that blessings will come into your life from somewhere else. If you are not honest in your work, if you are not honest in your emotional matters, if you are not honest in your friendships, if you think there is a group of friends whose vibes are not at all in sync with yours, step back, leave very amicably, because right now, during these 18 months, we are finding our like-minded people, we are finding our soulmates, we are finding our own group, and gradually, this is what the earth is giving us. This is the energy of the earth, the energy of the changing nodes, is that we find our own group. Let us all come together to form collaborative groups, treating every individual with profound respect and dignity, and striving to be consistently constructive in our collective efforts for the home we live in, which is our beautiful and fragile planet Earth, the only home we have ever known, as we provide unwavering support for our great Mother Nature. I am wishing you all the very best always. I am wishing you great strength, lots of cooperation, lots of love, and lots of bright light. I kiss each of your kind hearts and entrust you to the care of my great God. May your hearts be filled with joy and be happy until the next video.